exactly what this is supposed to be. Like it was just something I came up with at the last minute to give like a fancier underdash, because that's how the logo is supposed to spell out: Hill underdash Lins, Hillins.
Very good. Shall we move on to the next work of art?
Absolutely.
Is this your most recent one?
Yes, it is. This is my third painting. I titled this one Mars. The thing of it was, this is very different from the other two, and it was because I took some time off from painting as the summer approached by. One of the things was that as I got out of the semester, from my junior year, I had to go out and get a job. I had to go and get a summer job because I never had one before. And when I came back into the fall, as school started again, there was never any chance of applying for painting. I thought that I could apply for another painting class, but that there was a whole lot of other work that needed to be done, because I've entered my senior year and everything had to be locked in as far as boot camp like requirements were concerned. It was like boot camp time for the rest of the fall semester, considering the class requirements that needed to be met. And then when the winter session arrived, I had applied for Richard Clank's painting class. And Richard Clank is one of the guys who've pulled on through for me in doing this stuff, helping me figure out how I could do it, what's possible in expressing what you need to express. Just, it was a winter session. It was an art theory class, and what happened was that you could make your own art however you like it. It didn't matter how you did it or what you did. All it mattered was, as he put it in his own words, the right making of the thing to be made.
So Richard Clank is the one who pulled through for you in doing what you wanted to do, which was to take a type of media from Japan and retranslated it as fine art. What is its significance to you, and how big an impact did it have on the Western audience as far as your view?
Well, back in the mid-'90s, you had, a few anime shows but the anime is short for Japanese animation, by the way. So anime shows like Sailor Moon, as you see here, and like Dragon Ball, these two shows were like at the epicenter of a breaking anime phenomenon. Like it broke waves for morning shows and for all other kid shows. I mean, really, it was what middle school kids and high school geeks and even a minority of college-age kids, really dreamed of, was to see their stuff from Japan, their favorite shows from Japan, such as these, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball, and the like, to really be put on American television and translated. And then a slew of other shows followed. You had like Pokemon, your typical monster in your pocket type shows. Then you had like Tenchi Muyo, where you have a slew full of beautiful women surrounding, a nerdy guy, for no reason. Then you had like really big mechanical action shows, Gundam, the Big O. You had, you've essentially had you had a lot more variety in terms of the animated shows that were imported from Japan and translated in the Western side. So like the phenomenon got bigger from that point on, and more companies wanted to grab that opportunity and try to to import even more shows. And then the fan base was growing for all the shows, and then it was like nothing you've seen. Like if you were an old school fan of the in the 70s and 80s, you would not have predicated the madness that followed. Like the phenomenon was just huge. It was a really big success for anime shows on the Western side, especially in America. And then you had like, anime networks following, Cartoon Network specials. You had like original American shows that took on the anime style, like say the Boondocks, not an action show, it was a comedy show, but really it took that similar style and made it into its own. And Batman Beyond, you had other shows like Teen Titans, and you had a slew of others, Totally Spies, and all other kids shows that were taking on the style and were just borrowing their stuff from Japanese anime.
So now we come to Mars. Can you talk with us about your approach to this piece?
Absolutely. What I did was I'd chosen a character from the Sailor Moon show, and she's one of the best sailor soldiers, as they call her. Um, I chose this one in particular because I liked in the original photograph, well, the original image, um, that self-assurance, that poise. I loved it so much that she exudes confidence and inner awareness, and I wanted to exemplify that and probably modify it as to, expand on that idea. Like you see here, the roses and all that. Um, so yeah, and the logo.
Now, with regard to Neptune, is this based on Sailor Moon also?
Yes, it is. Neptune, I wanted to do was do it similarly to Mars, but the thing was that there was a point in which, I wanted to do it a little differently, for no other reason than to try to obscure like the reference to the character and probably leave the title alone and let other people um, add other meanings to it, so to speak.
I see this one as different from the other painting. Did you do this deliberately, or were you compelled to make another style?
It was more likely a thresh. I was like on the threshold of doing it either, diverging from the original image or just, keeping on with the spirit of the Mars painting, not trying to give it the same anime look as in the original. But then I decided, I was in the middle of finishing this, and then I wanted to do something different. So it was a little bit of both.
So how do you see it now?
I see it now, the way I see it as like ghosts, sea ghosts, or like sea creatures. Like it looks like it's set underwater. It's called Neptune. Neptune was the god of the seas. But here you see it, with different implications. You see like it's underwater with the light from below, and then you see these creatures actually standing by, standing for like 5 dimensions of personality, like 5 different personalities that stick together. You see here, I especially like this one because it exudes a sense of wisdom and awareness. It's like, it exudes consciousness, a lot like with one of my Hillary and Lindsay paintings. These two exemplify beauty and a little bit of vanity, and this one exudes determination, grit. And see right here, this I needed to, to balance off from all this static posing, all these static figures, as to be the only one that's like small and like floating right towards the audience. I wanted to have that effect.
Well, I'm pleased to present you with the International History Week Fine Arts Award, Michael.
Thank you.
And our guest today has been Michael David Bloom. I'm glad that you were able to join us for today's edition of International Definition. And now, until our next broadcast, I'm your host, Kenneth Freeland, thanking you for joining us today.